Hi everybody, welcome to another day of Vlogust. Right now we have frizzy wavy hair, but this morning when I washed it, I put a little bit of product in to try and reduce the frizz, but it is humid out, and as it dries it frizzes up. So usually, like, before I have to go out again this afternoon, I'll probably put a little bit of hair oil and then I kind of like put it back in a clip. But I watched the videos like how you scrunch it up and you use this product and that product. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I don't like a lot of product in my hair, because if I want to like comb it out with a wide tooth comb and straighten it, like I can get an extra day or two out of my hair, and that's always what I try to do. But it has been a week. It is only Tuesday and a lot of things have popped up, which hasn't really happened for a while. So I'm trying to like have like my schedule that I thought that the week was gonna look like, and I'm just kind of adjusting to it, because when it comes to my son and my mother, that's part of what happens. Sometimes, you know, you have to make a phone call or receive a phone call and follow up with stuff, or, you know, talk about, you know, the other things that are going on, and that's part of my life. And I just felt like today I was just feeling really tired, so I'm gonna give myself a little bit of grace today. I'm gonna try and be productive, but also do as little as possible, but stay up on the things that will help me tomorrow. So that's where we'll find the balance, and I'm gonna get a little bit of help tonight. I also was very thankful to have my lunch prepped. Almost everything I prepped on the weekend needs to be replenished or come up with like what do we have that I can pull from to get through until the weekend. So we'll figure that out tonight, and then tomorrow I'll focus more on that, but we're good for now. And lunch was really good, and I had some strawberries left from my little like produce snacky thing. That was great with those black bean and quinoa wraps. They were so good, and I wanted something sweet to finish off my lunch, so I had some sugar-free chocolate jello and I put it in a bowl with the strawberries. It was just perfection. It was just something that I felt like I was having something indulgent but being very mindful of what I ate, and it worked out perfectly. And then I'm like, okay, I need to vlog today, so I'm gonna put some lipstick on, and for some reason like Flo from Alice like popped into my mind, like kiss my grits or when donkeys fly, you know what she would say. And it was like I had this like moment where I remember, like, I think it was like 2:30 on channel 8 on CBC, Alice would come on in the summertime, I think, and I always like would want to watch it because I love that show. And then it made me think about like sick days or PD days. I don't even know if it was in the summer, but I always remembered at 10 o'clock One Day at a Time was on channel 13, because I love the theme song and I love Schneider, and of course you watch that before The Price is Right. So the theme songs were so good back then, like The Facts of Life and all of the different shows. And then it made me think of my dad. My dad would always watch the Flintstones. It would be on at noon. I can remember the channel and everything like that. And if he had a day off, or like I think after he retired too, it would be he'd watch it. And if we would stop in, like if Steve was off or if the kids and I stopped in, like Grandpa would be watching the Flintstones, you know what I mean? And I'm so happy that those little things like can pop up a memory and just like bring a smile to my face. And you know, just, I don't know, it's just those little things, like even with my mom, like just little things that she did over the years that were just what I miss so much. You know, it's not about like big trips or extravagant this or that. Like it's these little things that were part of the mundaneness of life, that was just part of the routine, that they bring me, you know, happy memories now. So maybe I helped trigger a happy memory for you, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. But I don't know, there was something about the simplicity of life back then, and you know, knowing that a TV show came on, and if you wanted to watch it, you had to, okay, I'm going inside, I want to watch Alice, you know. And then also just, you know, having a day at home or a snow day or something. I don't think we had snow days when we were kids, but like a PD day, I just watched TV all day in the winter. Like it was just always fun to watch all of those shows that you missed while you were at school. So I'm gonna do some editing. We're gonna keep things really simple today. I'm gonna share dinner with you and also share a little hiccup that happened in my HelloFresh order this week. I'm kind of more mad at myself. Mistakes happen, but I could have caught it a little bit earlier to, you know, make it work out. But I just took for granted that everything was there, and it's something I probably won't do it again. I'll probably double check to make sure that everything is on schedule, but as always, life happens. I was gonna go down and edit because that was my focus of getting that done, and I did a couple of things that my future self will be very thankful I did. So I got the dishwasher running, so that way it can be all emptied and everything when I'm making dinner tonight. It just makes the cleanup a lot quicker. Took a couple of things out to the recycling. Gonna bring this down, and then I also just started a load of laundry. So as long as it gets put in the dryer, it's not gonna get folded. At least I got one load of laundry done. So now I'm gonna go down and edit and enjoy the quiet of the house. Okay, I got my editing done and I'm just taking it easy today. So far I'm enjoying it. Anyways, we got our HelloFresh yesterday and I left dinner to the last minute. It was just busy. And I got everything out to make the cheese tortellini and sun-dried tomato pesto sauce. Because when I unboxed everything, I'm like, okay, there's 2 things of tortellini. So then when I went to make dinner at the last minute, there was only one of the ingredient bag. And in it is the spinach, the tomato, and then the sun-dried pesto and a shallot. And I was like, oh no. So I went out, checked the thing and everything, and they didn't send me another one. So it was last minute. We had to change our plans and all that. So we just grabbed something and we got through it. So they give us a refund, not a credit, a refund. So we'll get like over $20 back. I really wanted them to send out another bag. That is what I wanted so I could make it again. But they said they couldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I stopped in at Walmart this morning and I got baby spinach and grape tomatoes. I didn't get another shallot because I'm pretty sure when I bought them, you have to buy them in a bag, and I didn't want to do that. And I knew that I had the sun-dried pesto in the pantry. So I just got everything out to make sure that I have it. So the shredded cheese, the cream cheese, the tomatoes, tortellini, spinach, tomatoes. I'm going to cook it tonight. You can follow along because this is something I'm definitely going to make again, and I thought I'd share it with you. But anyways, I'm really looking for dinner. Forward to this tonight. I also have a Caesar salad kit, so I'm going to put all of this away, and then I'll share with you a few little things that I do to try and help make dinner go a little bit smoother, and also what I got at Walmart since I had to run in and get more ingredients. I knew I needed to get a few things, so I got some Bic pens. These were $2 or $3. Blue, black, red. I also got some mechanical pencils. These are the 0.7 because there's certain calendars I fill in using them, and I was getting low. A couple of Sharpies, $2. And I also wanted to get a shaker bottle. I was actually going to try making the matcha latte again today, but I am going to get a hot coffee this afternoon. And I opened up the RX bars and I've been wanting to try this blueberry one, so that's what I'm going to have for my afternoon pick-me-up. I have my cutting board here. I just opened up the salt thing, so I'm going to put that back in. My little pudding cup is there. I have my colander out, salt, pepper, the knife. It says to poke the cherries or the tomatoes with a fork. I'm going to use a little knife. I need a 1.5 cups of the reserve pasta water. This is the pan I'm gonna make the sauce and everything in. And then I also have the pot out that I'm gonna cook the tortellini in. So it just makes it that much easier that the stuff is out, and then I'm just gonna get it all going. And then it has the measurements on here too, so I'm going to need a 1/4 cup of this sun-dried tomato pesto. That's really what it is, like sun-dried tomato pesto, so I have it. And you could add chicken to it too, like I could have picked that, it would have been extra, but it's nice to have a vegetarian meal every once in a while, so I'm going to use all of the tomatoes and all of the spinach that I have. It doesn't hurt to have a lot more vegetables. That's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go up, just fix my hair up a little bit, put some more lipstick on, have a little chat with you about what we did last night, and then we'll close up with making a delicious dinner tonight. Okay, so this is how I like to wear my hair, in kind of a clip like down lower, and it just works for me. I don't want to spend a lot of time blow drying my hair or straightening or anything because it is hot and humid, it frizzes up. In the wintertime it's different. I don't mind like blow drying my hair and like, you know, blow drying it straight and then using the flat iron, but in this weather I couldn't be bothered. It's just a waste of time. But even in the winter I'll do this too. I might have to use my diffuser because I can't be going out with wet hair when it is freezing cold out. But this morning was weird. Steve didn't sleep good. He was up early and he's training for a run again. So he used to run a lot and did quite a few runs, and you lose motivation, you know, you just take a break and then it's hard to get back into it. And then I was like going through different apps like for walking and all of that, and then I brought up one of these old apps that I had and I logged in and I saw all the walks that I used to do with Charlie, our beagle, and I miss those days. Like, him and I did so much together when the kids were in school and Steve was gone, and we just walk. And then something happened one day and Charlie pulled me and I twisted my knee, and then I was like out of commission, and that was really kind of the downfall of everything. I took a break, and then, you know, I started slacking off and everything again, and just, you know, here I am like picking up the pieces on and off for however many years, and I'm tired of it, especially when you see the progression of where you were at a fitness level and trying to get back to it and how hard it is to do it. And if you just keep doing a little bit every day and maintain it, you know, you can do it. It's like what I'm trying to do with the housework and everything. But this morning was really weird because I felt kind of off anyways because of dinner last night. Like, I felt really bad because I wasn't organized. It got away from me, but it all worked out because we ended up getting burritos. Steve and Andrew got burritos. I got a burrito bowl. Steve's was so big. He got like steak and everything in it. And he ate half of it and he took the other half for lunch today. So his lunch is good to go for tomorrow. I don't have to do anything. And I really enjoyed it. It was nice not to have to cook. It was nice not to have to clean up. And then I was able to get some things done last night and not have that little chore. But this morning, like, I don't know, the dogs wanted in or something, or I had to do something, and then I was kind of tidying up, and I'm like, I didn't drink my coffee. There's my full cup of coffee. Like, no wonder I'm dragging, but I drank it. It was like lukewarm, so I'm gonna get a hot coffee this afternoon. I know that it's what I need, so I'm gonna have a hot coffee and an RX bar on this really hot, humid day. But yeah, it worked out last night. You know, those things happen, and you know, I'm trying to share with you the realness of life too, that, you know, when you get organized and have routine and letting go of clutter, and you start focusing, you know, that's all I'm trying to do. You saw the way, you know, how unorganized I wasn't posting videos. Now I'm like, okay, there's some challenges I want to do. There's some dinner things I want to do, like, you know, getting $50 or $100, just getting food and seeing what I can make with it and challenge myself and share it with you in a video. And then, like, I'm getting back into food prep and I want to do different vlogs. So, like, whenever you're organized and have a flexible routine, you really do have more time in the day. And I feel like whenever all of these little bumps in the road and all of these unexpected things come up in life, I am just in a better place mentally for it. But I'm not gonna lie, it's taken me a lot of work. I think, you know, I was getting close to having a burnout again after a lot of different things, and I knew that I needed to take a couple of days break, rest a little bit, and I'm really glad that I did, because it's really nice to get back into Vlogust and having my focus. And, you know, we'll get into September and we'll kind of see how it goes. Maybe just doing simple little vlogs, because I know a lot of you like to see the day-to-day life stuff, and I find it's easier to just share the realness of life. And that's really what this channel has always been about, a little community. The ups and the downs in life, but I'm working hard to have more ups and trying to share a little bit of the downs and just trying to work through them. So anyways, I'm gonna go get myself a coffee, pick up my boy, and I'll be back here to make a delicious dinner, and maybe you'll be able to make it for your family too. I sliced up the shallot. I am going to use all of the tomatoes. I'm also glad that I got everything out. I'm also using all of the spinach, and I just roughly cut it up with the scissors. And I have 2 tablespoons of butter starting to melt, and then I'm putting the water on for the tortellini. It is 5:08. I'm hoping to have dinner ready for 5:40. That's kind of my timeline. Andrew likes to have an idea, and I'm going to link the recipe down below. And I'm going to follow it exactly. The only thing different is I'm using more spinach and more tomatoes. I have them. I don't really have a plan for them. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with adding more vegetables. But I do think that the spinach could have affected the results because of the water content that kind of, you know, released into the sauce. So it said to like use a fork to pierce the tomatoes, so I just kind of did a knife, and then you cook them for about 5 minutes. You really want them to kind of burst, but I wanted them to burst more, so I went out and got my potato masher and just squeezed them as best I can, because I did want to get kind of the juices out, kind of deflate it, and then sit in with the butter and get all of that flavor in the bottom. So I thought it would help to enhance the flavor of the sauce. Just kind of doing my own thing. And I think that was what I really enjoyed about this meal, is I knew that it was something I would want to make again. And it was a good recipe, but I know that I could make it better. So I'm adding in a little bit of garlic, and then I'm just going to saute these for however long the recipe says, just to kind of get all the flavor, and then just keeping everything very simple with just some salt and some pepper. I know a lot of people use pesto and make something different, but my family does not like pesto. And I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to try something different. And I think my goal is to try and come up with a recipe that would be something that I wouldn't make very often, that it would be more of a special occasion. And I think this would be really good with a couple of little tweaks. I really liked the flavor of it. I wouldn't add as much pasta water, but I found the tortellini just was too heavy. It was too big. I think this would be really nice with a thin pasta, like a nice angel hair pasta, even just spaghetti, something a little bit lighter. Penne, all of that is kind of thick. Like I feel something a little bit more delicate. And you could even omit the pasta, add in some chicken. You could serve it over a bed of romaine to cut down on the calories and the carbs and all of that. But I also think it would be really nice if you did, some nice chicken breast or even chicken thighs on the side, or even did some meatballs. There's so many things that you could do with this base recipe. And that's part of what I love with cooking, is that you can experiment, you can find a flavor that you like, you can find a texture, and then you can make it all come together. That was the one thing that I did find with this recipe, was I found that there wasn't enough of the sun-dried tomato pesto. I could have added a little bit more, but I also found that the 1.5 cups of pasta water was just a little bit too much, and I should have only done maybe a cup and then see if I needed any more. But it was a really good meal. Everybody liked it, but I did find that it was just a little bit too heavy with the cheese tortellini. I felt like it was more of an indulgent meal to have just this tortellini with it. That was just my opinion. It was still very good. Andrew loved it, and I also didn't have the pasta kind of boiling, so maybe my pasta water wasn't as full as, the carbs or the starch from the tortellini. But, I needed to get this ready for a certain time, and I think that was kind of the mistake, because I'm like, oh, this is a little bit watery. I probably should have added a little bit more pesto, and then I'm adding in the spinach here, and then you're going to get more water in here. But, I wanted to follow the recipe. I knew that our son would like this, and I wanted to give it a little bit of time to sit and soak in all of those flavors too, and then maybe even thicken up the sauce a little bit. But I think, adding in a little bit of Parmesan cheese would help it too. And that's part of the recipe. You put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in, and then you're supposed to put it on at the end. But I kind of put it all in at the same time, hoping that I was going to thicken up the sauce. But I'm very happy with the ingredients. It doesn't use a lot. I do like sun-dried tomatoes, and that's something I could experiment too, with even doing a little bit of oil and doing the sun-dried tomatoes in there. But as you can see, it's kind of very watery. Maybe I could have put in a little bit more cream cheese, or even a little bit of, a high protein, low sugar yogurt to thicken it up and maybe make it a little bit more creamy. So I just wanted to share it with you, because I think that there's a lot of options on making this a real nice meal, but it's not a hard meal to cook, and I think everybody would like it. And I'm just excited about it, but I was also a little bit disappointed, and that's okay. That's part of, using these meals. It kind of teaches me portions. Like, this is 4 servings, and there's no way that, we're going to eat this in 4 servings. It's definitely going to stretch out. The 3 of us are going to have it for dinner. It's going to be for lunch. It's going to be for another dinner, probably another lunch. Like, it's a very big portion. So I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes and try and thicken up the sauce. And I was actually surprised that it wasn't more spinach or tomatoes than what I thought. I actually could have used even more tomatoes compared to the amount of tortellini. So it kind of worked out that I picked up a little bit more of the vegetables, and then this is when I decided to add in the cheese to try and thicken up the sauce. I had a salad kit in the fridge. I made it. I was really disappointed. I found it was more stalks than like the greens of the romaine. I still have some of the sun-dried pesto left, and I was going to use it for pizza sauce, and I think I'm like, my mind's kind of thinking about something else I can make. Steve brought that home from work, so I want to make sure that that gets finished, and then I just have everything piled up, and here it is. I want to let it sit for a little bit, so it's 5:30. I'm going to let the timer kind of sit for about 5 minutes. I'm glad I gave it extra time because it did thicken up, and it was a lot of tortellini. So we're going to get this plated up, get it served, and I really enjoyed cooking it, and I really liked trying something different, but I also know how I could improve it, and I hope it gives you an idea of what you can do when you try a new recipe and maybe you could do something different with it.